In this video, we're going to be using slope and a point to graph a line. In 1, it says, a line has a slope of -3/2 and contains the point 2, -1. In A, it says, in the slope, move the negative sign to the numerator and interpret the slope. So we can say that m is equal to -3/2. And if we have a -3 in the numerator of our slope, that means that we move 3 units down, because the slope is change in y over change in x, so -3 represents the change in y. And for our change in x, we have 2, which means we move 2 units right. In B, it says plot the point 2, -1, which we're going to label as point A. So we go 2 units right from the origin and 1 unit down. And we're going to label this point A. In C, it says find another point by starting at 2, -1 and using the slope. So if we go down 3 units, that means we're going to subtract 3 from -1. So our y value is going to be -4. And if we move 2 units right, we're going to add 2 to 2, which means we have the point 4, -4. We're going to call this point B. And we're going to go ahead and graph it. So we're going to move 4 units right and 4 units down from the origin. In D, it asks us to find another point. So again, I'm going to subtract 3 from my y value, which gives me -7. And I'm going to add 2 to my x value, which gives me 6. So the point 6, -7 is on our line. We'll label this point C. So we're going to go 6 and down 7. And this is point C. And E, it says using the points from parts C and D, verify the slope. So we're going to do m is equal to y2, which is -7, minus y1, which is -4, divided by x2, which is 6, minus x1, which is 4. And we get -7 minus a -4 is -3. And 6 minus 4 is 2. So this verifies our slope is -3/2. And now in F, it says, in part A, would you obtain the same line if you wrote the slope as m is equal to 3 over -2? And the answer is yes. We can move the negative around to the numerator or the denominator when we're talking about slope. So if our m is equal to 3 over -2, we're going to move 3 units up, and we're going to move 2 units left. So now we're going to find a fourth point using 3 over -2. So we'll start back with our original point, 2, -1. And if we were to move 3 units up, we're going to add 3 to our y value. So we have -1 plus 3 is 2. And if we move 2 units left, we're going to subtract 2 from our x value, which was 2. So 2 minus 2 is 0. And we can find that point D is 0, 2. So we're going to go 2 units up from the origin and label this point D. And now we're going to draw our line. So you can see that we have a negative slope because we're downward sloping from left to right, and we cross through each of the points that we plotted. In 2, it says, a line has a slope of 3 and contains the point -2, 1. State the coordinates of 2 other points on the line. In A, it asks us to rewrite the slope as a fraction and interpret the slope. So m was equal to 3, which we could write as 3 over 1, which means we're going to move 3 units up, and we're going to move 1 unit right. In B, it says plot the point -2, 1, which I'm going to call point A. So we go 2 to the left and 1 up from the origin, and we have point A. And in C, it asks us to find another point. So for our y value, we're going to add 3 units to the y, which is 1. So we have 3 plus 1 is 4. And then we're going to add 1 unit to the x value. So we have -2 plus 1 is -1. And we're going to call -1, 4 point B. And we're going to go 1 unit left and 4 units up. And we have point B. And in D, they want us to find another point. So again, I'm going to add 3 units to my y value. So 4 plus 3 is 7. And I'm going to add 1 unit to my x value. So I have -1 plus 1 is 0. So the point 0, 7, we're going to call point C. And I'm going to go 7 units up from the origin. And in E, it says using the points from parts C and D, verify the slope. So we have M is equal to y2 is 7 minus y1 is 4 divided by x2 is 0 minus x1, which is -1. And we get 7 minus 4 is 3. And 0 minus a -1 is 1. And 3 over 1 is equal to 3. So now we want to draw our line. So you can see that we have a positive sloping line because we're slanted upward from left to right, and we cross through all the points that we plotted. In 3, it says a line has a slope of 0 and contains the point 3, 4. In A, they ask us what kind of line has a slope of 0. And a horizontal line has a slope of 0. In B, it asks, do you use the value of x or y coordinate when graphing the line? And we use the y coordinate. And remember that the equation for a horizontal line is y is equal to b. In C, it asks us to graph the line. So I'm going to plot 3, 4. And now I'm going to draw a horizontal line at y is equal to 4. In D, it says find 2 other points on this line. And as long as our y value is 4, we can pick any x values. So I'm going to say that 0, 4 is a point on the line, which is where our line touches the y-axis. And then I can choose any other number, so we'll say 6, 4. And we can say that this is point B and point C, and our original point was A. So our original point we plotted was right here. And then point B is 0, 4. And point C we chose 6, 4. So we're going to go 3 more units to 6, 4, C. And now in E, it says, using the points from part D, verify the value of the slope. So we're going to have M is equal to y2, which is 4, minus y1, which is also 4, divided by x2 is 6, minus x1 is 0, and we get 0 over 6, which is equal to 0. So we verified the slope that they gave us. In D, it says a line has an undefined slope and contains the point 5, 1. In A, it asks what kind of line has an undefined slope. And a line with an undefined slope is a vertical line. In B, it asks, do you use the value of the x or y coordinate when graphing the line? And we're going to use the x coordinate. And the equation of a vertical line is x is equal to a. In C, it asks us to graph the line, so I'm going to plot the point 5, 1, which we'll call point A. And now I'm going to graph my vertical line. In D, it asks us to find two other points on the line, and as long as our x value is the same, we can choose any other y value. So I can choose 5, 4, and we'll call this point B, and I'm going to choose 5, 7, and I'm going to call this C. So now I'm going to plot these points. So 5, 4 is right here, and we call this point B. And then we're going to go up to 7 and plot that point and call this C. And now in E, they want us to verify the value of the slope. So we're going to say M is equal to y2, which is 7, minus y1, which is 4, divided by x2, which is 5, minus x1, which is also 5. And we get 7 minus 4 is 3, and 5 minus 5 is 0, and 3 over 0 is undefined. And this verifies the slope that they gave us. And that's all for this video on using slope and a point to graph a line.